funding a genocide over land, over territory in Gaza lost them some Democratic votes. Would those votes have been enough to win? You never know. But I feel like a lot of people, Palestinian, Middle Eastern, Arab communities, did not vote. And Trump blamed them.
What's up? Welcome to the Hube Knows Best Pod. I appreciate your support. In return, I hope I provide you with some worthwhile gems that benefit you on your journey. At the very least, I hope I put a smile on your face. If not, hopefully you share this with someone that does benefit. And I got you next time. Again, thanks for joining today, and let's get this thing going.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Hube Knows Best Pod. I want to give you the truth, the whole truth, well, as best as I can. So help me God. It's November 6th, 2024, day after the election. Some people are somber, hurt, sad, disheartened, disappointed, whatever words you could think of negatively today. And some people are happy. And, you know, we live in a country where we claim we have democracy and that, you know, we are going to have a peaceful transition in power. We didn't have that 4 years ago, but we got a new president, and that new president is Donald J. Trump. Like I said, this is not a political podcast. So I won't give my political thoughts and espouse any of my views on this. But I do want to talk about how I feel this election was won and this election was lost. Then we're going to get into how these election results will impact business, right? We talk about business on this podcast. We talk about entrepreneurship, and I'm here to share gems on like how to best go about your business. And so, just how to best move forward. At the end of the day, after this, we have to move forward and, let the cards fall where they may. So thinking about how, this election was won. So I think both parties spent way too much time talking about each other. And when I say that, I mean personal attacks. And so while that's par for the course for Donald Trump and MAGA people, that's expected. But I think where the Harris campaign fell short was spending too much talking about Donald Trump and his poor character, his poor morals, his whatever, and not sticking to the issues and where the Biden administration, where she had success, where the Democrats had success over the last 4 years. Things like lowest inflation in the world comparative to any other major country that also had been impacted by COVID, like record low unemployment for the country and Black people, reduced gas prices, increased stocks going up. That had nothing to do with Trump or this election. Usually markets kind of stable out, leading up to election, and markets have been going gangbusters, I want to say over the last 6 months to a year. And so not sticking to those things when the economy was a big thing, I feel hurt their campaign. Now, been looking at social media, looking at different things. That is something that probably would have increased voter turnout because a lot of people are disappointed in the economy, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. Everyone is impacted differently by the economy. Yes. Do I want to pay $3 for something that I paid $2 for 4 years ago? No, but I also understand economics. I understand business, and I understand why those things are happening. Not everybody understands that. And I think the campaign fell short, making it simple. What do they say? KISS, keep it simple, stupid, for the people that aren't educated, because that makes up most of the electorate and don't understand how these things work. You have to break it down like you're in kindergarten for some people. And that's not to throw shade at people and say that you guys are dumb and don't understand. But if that's not something that you're expert in, something that you spend a lot of time in, if someone is telling you that the economy is bad, that this is one side's fault, well, that side that's in power has to tell you why it's not their fault and why the economy is good. Honestly, I don't think I think there is a overconfidence in what America is. I think after Obama was elected in 2008 and reelected in 2012, the Democratic Party still hasn't learned that has had an inverse reaction for some people. There are things that have come out around abortion rights and why there's the real reasoning behind abortion rights being taken away. But there are people that do not want to see minorities, whether they be people of color or women, in positions of power, because that does something for them. And I think the Trump campaign spent a lot of time egging those flames, egging those people out. They had great turnout from male voters on their side, which is something that did not show up on the Harris side. So much so that Kamala had almost 15 million less votes than Joe Biden. So Donald Trump actually won this election with 3 million less votes than he had in a loss last election. Make that make sense. So there were 81 million people that voted, plus or minus, for Joe Biden, and only 66 million, plus or minus, that voted for Kamala Harris. While Trump had 74 million people vote for him last time and lost, but had 71 million vote for him this time and won. The math don't math, right? And so there are just some people that were not going to vote for her because she's a woman. And that's sad to say that. Add on top of that she's a black woman. That just is what it is. And you have to do things to combat that, or to garner interest, or encourage people to feel like you're going to be a president for them. And you didn't. They didn't. And so that's another reason for a loss. And a Trump win. Next thing, I'm very anti-war, and not even so much anti-war. I'm more anti being in other people's business. If you haven't kind of guessed this, I'm all about government staying out of people's business. Whereas my business, your business, other countries' business. Like, we can have allies, we can have whatever agreements across the world, but funding a genocide, let's call it what it is, a genocide over land, over territory in Gaza, lost them some Democratic votes. Would those votes have been enough to win? You never know. But I feel like a lot of people that are Palestinian, Middle Eastern, Arab, from the Arab communities did not vote. And Trump blamed them. And it fell the way that the Biden administration handled this, and Kamala, you're part of the Biden administration, how it was handled poorly. You guys tried to play both sides, but kind of leaned towards the side that, for all intents and purposes, looked like the bad guys, and lost votes. Now, I don't know if you didn't do that, if you would have lost more votes. You never know. But it was handled poorly. This conflict should not still be going on, and it should have been squashed, especially coming into election season, because it would have showed some strength. It would have showed that you handled these things better. You already had the Russian-Ukraine conflict, pulled out of Afghanistan poorly, and now we have the Gaza conflict, and we are funding things as a country that is leading to genocide, and that is going to have a negative reaction from a part of the electorate in this country. So whether they abstained or voted for Trump, you lost votes. All right. This one's a little nuanced, and it's interesting because as someone that's lived in California, someone that has Latino friends, has a Latino line brother, and loves Latin culture, there is a dichotomy within the Latin community that is very interesting and very segmented, kind of like in the Black community. You know, in the Black community, you have colorism. In the Latin Hispanic community, you have the haves and the have-nots, or how people view each other, depending on what country they come from, what skin tone they have. And there are a lot of Latinos that identify as white because they have white presenting skin. They feel like they fit in with the white people of this country, and they vote even if it's against their own interests because they can't see the forest for the trees. And again, neither party is going to save you. But when one party tells you that they want to ship you all back to where you came from, mass deportation, there are going to be some restrictions that come that, yeah, your kid was born here. That don't mean you're going to be left here, and they might send your kid with you. And so dichotomy in that community that segment of the populace, they showed up for Trump more than they showed up for Kamala. And let's be real. The Latino community is more conservative. They're probably the most conservative community in the United States, just based on how they do religion, their culture, everything. They're very conservative, even more so conservative than black people. Because if you talk to me, I'd say black people are the conservatives. We just tend to vote Democratic because we have been oppressed, or most of the Republican Party policies are oppressive. And so black people tend to go against anything that seems oppressive. That's just my view. But like, if you talk about like religion and things like that, black people are very conservative. But I would say Latinos are far more conservative than we are. Trump didn't really use that against Kamala, but they did everything but spit in Latinos' face. But the Democratic Party, if you guys want to win these elections, you guys got to figure out a message that resonates with the Latin populace. All right. I don't know that the ads or campaigns telling women to vote behind their husbands' wives really resonated in the way that y'all think they thought that it was going to. But there is this thought that, or feeling in the minority community, or people that vote for Democrats, that white women will smite their own face, or, cut out their own nose to, make sure that another woman is not in power. And the numbers bear that out. Women voting for Trump when he is telling you that he is going to take away your reproductive rights, even if it is going to cost you your life. They plan to monitor miscarriages. Like, that's part of the plan, to monitor miscarriages. And this suburban white women showing up for Kamala at the polls, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. Either they did not vote or they voted for Trump. Again, because there's 15 million votes that are missing. So maybe some people died. Of course, people die. But there are approximately 340 million people in the United States that are, citizens. So if we cut out kids, cut out felons, right now, let's just say we stay status quo. There were 150 million people that voted plus last time. Only 135 million voted this time. So I don't know that the message resonated in the way that you guys thought it was going to resonate, because those women did not show up for Kamala. All right. The last one here, like I said, the economic plan needed to be more sound. I wrote it out on my Instagram. I talked about it. It could have been so simple. Hey, gas prices down, stocks up, inflation down, unemployment down, black unemployment down. If you are losing the economic argument based on grocery prices, that's a bad L to take. I even had this discussion internally at work the other day. And it was brought, well, interest rates are still high. Interest rates are where interest rates are supposed to be. Like, people thinking interest rates are going to be low because they were low during the pandemic. You're kidding yourself. Interest rates will never be that low. One, the Biden administration did not bail out banks. There are so many banks that failed during the Biden administration. That's part of the reason inflation is down. But their rates are not that competitive. There are only so many banks that can offer you a loan. Interest rates are not going to go below 5, guys. Like, that is a fantasy in a fairy tale land. And so these things need to be more drawn out. They need to be explained. There should have been a town hall only talking about the economy if I'm running the campaign, but it wasn't. And so people that maybe didn't like Trump's economic plan, didn't trust Kamala didn't trust that what the economist said, that her plan would actually see us to continue to have gross domestic product growth. Like, our gross domestic product is up, according to economists, like people that get paid to do this. If Trump implements his tariffs, we are going in a recession. That's just what the economists say. Do we know that? I don't know. There are so many repercussions that I hope it was just talk, because a lot of people are about to be in pain and suffering if these policies and these things go into play that were proposed in Project 2025, or I want to say Project 47. I don't know what, I think that's the name of it. But yeah. So kudos to Kamala Harris for being brave enough to step up when Joe Biden clearly was not fit to run for a second term. And we'll see where the next 4 years go. Now, speaking of which, where do the next 4 years go? What does that mean? So how is that going to impact business? Well, you have Elon Musk, who is backing Trump. He's going to be pushing so much stuff, so many things. AI is not going anywhere. And as someone that works in tech, I can see that businesses are going to start running more lean. Like coming out of our MBA program, we talked about people running lean, businesses running lean. If you don't know what running lean means, it means just not hiring too many people, not living in a place of surplus, right? Not over hiring, not over spending on tech stack, all these things. You see it across the board with customers. If you're selling to different industries, that everybody's like, hey, we're running lean. Hey, we don't plan on growing our team. We're trying to cut costs here and there. What's the best pricing we can get? And some of that is normal, but some of that is because people have realized in a post-pandemic society, all that overspending was bad. Like, cause now you have to lay off people. You have to pay them severance. You got to do all these packages. You're losing money because you don't have anybody to sell to. You're losing talent, because they can't get promoted, things of that nature. So one trend that I expect to continue is for companies to run lean. There's not going to be this burst of hiring because of Trump. If anything, with these tax cuts, these people are going to bank this money. They're going to find different ways to become more lean, invest in technologies that are going to make them more lean, more efficient, more effective, and more profitable. They're not going to start hiring and overspending on products that they do not need. What else do I see happening? Customers are going to look to find, and this is still kind of being lean, but they're going to try to find out a way how they can get something that does multiple things, right? I have a customer that bought one tool and replaced 3 different products, 3 different tools. So customers are going to try to consolidate. They're going to spend more time. They're going to divest. Like I have so many customers that are in merger or divesting currently. Like they're either merging with another company to offset cost and things of that nature, looking to be acquired, or they're divesting something that is not, like, it might be profitable, but it's not reaching a certain level of profitability. And so you're going to see a lot of businesses merge, a lot of businesses come together to have the missing piece of their product or solution so that they don't have to do the research and development of a new product. They're just going to acquire another company, bring them in, merge with that company, bring them in, and lay off people that are non-essential. That's what's going to happen. That's how I see it happening. You're going to see companies divest parts of their business that they feel are not profitable enough, right? If you're not reaching a certain EBITDA, right? These companies are going to divest. I see it with my customers on a regular basis. And employment is not going to grow. Unemployment's already low. Like, think about that. Unemployment is already record low. It's like 2.4% last I checked, I think. And so there are not a lot of new jobs that are going to be created. Like, this is the highest number of manufacturing jobs that we've had since probably the 90s. So where are these jobs going to come from? They're not coming. And so as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to make your customers more efficient, more effective. So if you're a business owner and entrepreneur, you need to be investing in your own AI, creating something that is a need to have, not a nice to have. Your value pitch is going to have to be great, especially as a small business owner. And you're probably going to have to make your pricing more competitive. It's going to be rough. I don't foresee things greatly improving over the next 4 years. I don't. I think things at best stay steady. Like, for everybody talking about, oh, the economy was great under Trump. That was Obama's economy. He just didn't fuck it up until the end. And so, just make sure you're investing in the right places, making sure that you're lean, making sure you're not over-indexing on certain investments or certain customers, making sure that your portfolio is diversified enough that if you lose a customer, you're not going to go out of business, and making sure that you're taking the right steps to continue to run lean, to be effective, to be efficient with your own business, because that's what every other business that you're selling to is trying to do. They're trying to make sure that they keep their costs low. So it'll be interesting to see over the next few months what the stock market does in reaction to this. I haven't looked at the stock market today. It's interesting to see what these businesses will do. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Hube knows best, but I don't know everything. So we'll keep tapped in. As I learn more, I'll share more. I'm going to have many people on here that are in business, that are in spaces that would know better than me. And we're going to talk about it and we're going to share, because we're not gatekeeping here. My job is not to gatekeep. My job is to open up gates, open up doors for you guys for pass the knowledge, because in the environment we're about to be in, we might need it just to sustain and, have a good life. So thanks for joining today. Again, I know some of you are sad. Maybe somebody following me is happy. But again, as always, I wish you peace, patience, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, discernment, health, strength, resolve. Be easy or don't, but every choice has a consequence and every action has a reaction. Peace out.